Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Community Report 39 for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This was published on the 21st of November 2021, if you're watching this in the future. And this report is very interesting because it starts to give us our first insights into the new crime and punishment update. Greetings, dear comrades of the Soviet Republic. We bring you news once again, and as you anticipate, we finally give you some information about the new features you can expect to be delivered in the game in December, if everything goes according to our plans. Our latest small updates brought you those new farm buildings and some fixes. Additionally, we created a new category for hostels, student homes, and the cursor in underground mode has white color now. Not too much other to say as the change logs are quite short, but we can give you something solid about the upcoming crime and justice features. Now, I think it's probably worth noting that, as far as I know, that those changes that they mentioned are not currently available in the stable branch. What I can't confirm is whether there's a beta version that you can take a look at. Although, to be honest, I'm not that worried about them because they are small changes. And the first picture here looks very much like we got our first look at the outside of a prison. Either that was a very austere police station. Let's move down to the next paragraph. In Report for the Community 30, we already mentioned that there will be 3 new buildings connected with crime, justice, police station, regional court and prison. You will be able to decide if you want to play with this feature or disable it to a lower difficulty similar to fires and seasons. This feature will have an impact on overall happiness, even health. That's going to be interesting. And they will be affected by overall government loyalty and unemployment. Wow, that's a lot of possible new factors to play with. It's also very interesting in the fact that you will be able to enable and disable that. Poses an interesting question of whether it would be possible to enable this feature within an existing save game, although there would be, I would guess that if you do that, there's going to be a lot of consequences, unless you, of course, you auto build all the relevant buildings and try and get them up and working. And I'm going to be pretty sure that looking at these pictures here, these are going to be very big buildings. So fitting these into an existing community will be quite interesting. So moving down to the next paragraph, every citizen will have a hidden criminality. It will be randomly generated in people, and if crimes will not be solved, it will cause growth of crime rate. As we mentioned earlier, low government loyalty and high unemployment will have an impact on crime rate too. There will be 3 groups of crimes: mild crimes, medium crimes, and serious crimes. If the crime is committed, all people in the area will be affected depending on the crime's seriousness. Their happiness will slowly decrease and even their health may go down because there are crimes that will cause harm to other people. Wow, that is quite a complex mechanic. And I can see it's going to be a little bit tricky to balance it. One thing I would be interested to know is whether if you had an area which had low government and high unemployment, whether the preference for the people there for criminality would increase. On the converse, if an area had high loyalty and low unemployment, whether the chance of a citizen becoming a criminal would be reduced. That is going to be very interesting to investigate. So, and what we got here, it looks like we've got a picture here of the different vehicles involved. It says VB8, which looks like that. So I think I'll just open the picture up. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that this is very much like police or prison vehicles here. They don't look like patrol cars. I'm pretty sure the modding community are going to have fun with that. So we're just going to move down to the next paragraph. Looks like we're going to get a bit more information in these pictures here. If crime happens, you will need police to come to the crime scene. The sooner the police vehicle arrives, the better chance that you have to successfully investigate the crime. After the police takes evidence, the process of investigation continues for a while, and only when the crime is fully investigated, then it proceeds to the regional court, where the trial starts. After the successful trial, the criminals is being sent to prison. So it's a 3-step process. It's not about the police showing up in a building and flashing straight out, and then that's it, crime solved. Let's have a quick look at the pictures. This is going to be very complex. So we've actually got a courthouse and a police station. Wow, we actually get a breakdown of the crimes being investigated. We got 3 sets of medium crime here, and looks like we've got to have court staff and judges, which is very similar to a medical facility. And I'd guess that the court staff are normally educated, judges are highly educated. Seems like that also applies to the police. It also looks like the police has a similar employment profile to a courthouse. I don't know if you guys are able to read this, but just below the top set of icons, it says -17, 5% unexamined criminal cases this year. So you're able to get a stat on what's been investigated, what hasn't been investigated. And down here you've got there's medium crime, 43% investigation, 2% limitation. I'm not sure what that is. Chances of solve 95%. Okay. So we'll just move on to the second picture. So why are they showing us a picture of a distillery? That doesn't make sense. Although there's a prison wagon there. I wonder if that's an indication that prisoners will be allowed to have day release to go and work. Okay, there's something to look through. Maybe then further down we'll get some more information on that. And this is a breakdown of the prison. Oh yeah, there's a prison bus here. Yeah, you can see here it says on the right hand side here it says prison bus. They're picking up and they're working in a food factory. So it looks very much like the prison will act as a source of workers. So maybe the more you get in prison, the better. On the left hand side here it says we've got wardens. It doesn't look like they actually need anything special. Oh, quite interesting. Below the top icons it says one prisoner escaped this year. It looks like we've got to set a loyalty as well. And there's a bar here that says prison security. Then we get a number of prisoners. And it looks very much like we're going to have to bring food, clothes and meat into the prison, similar to like you would do to a hotel. So that's going to add a bit more complexity to the distribution system. It says intended upbringing, cultural enjoyment. So I wonder whether this is actually allows you to set parameters. And I suppose probably the best way to recall this is the reform program that you're going to put into prison. And I suppose I would have guessed that the government employees or prison guards will affect this. Just see whether the next paragraph gives us a bit more information. You will need to have the highest possible prison security in prisons. If you will not have enough workers, warders in your prison, the prison security may go down. You can achieve 100% prison security only with highly loyal warders. You will need to bring food, meat and clothes into the prison. Naturally, the prison will not have any factory connections because it needs to be secure, and you will need to bring it directly by trucks. Oh, that wonder how many parking locations it's going to have. That could make life a little bit difficult. I like the concept that the fact that you need high loyalty wardens to achieve 100% security. Possibly if you only got 80-90% security, you may get people escaping. Interesting. You will be able to use your prisoners as workforce. Prison buses will serve to transport them to factories and other industrial facilities directly. You can easily imagine somebody making large complexes with prisons and some mines in a remote fenced area to create a feel of extra security. It would just not make that much sense to bring prisoners into your airplane production line. That introduces the concept of a gulag, and I've just put in a little hint to modders here. It'd be really great if, rather than have a big blocky building like they got now, whether you had something that looked like a gulag camp with wire around it. I don't know if that's possible because I'm terrible at modding. The other thing I would also say is that this is a very big building, and I hope possibly that we may be able to get some small local jails brought in and small local courts as well to fit the context of the start. If this infrastructure is going to be required from the beginning, it's going to make it very difficult to put together a police station, a courthouse, and a prison if the buildings are very big. I think this bottom picture is just the trucks leaving. And we've just got the final paragraph. We hope this will give you more options to play with and add an extra layer of complexity and difficulty with the optional for those who like it to be challenged in by the game. It give you a bit more reasons to keep lower unemployment rate and higher loyalty. You also have more types of duty vehicles driving on your roads, making them look more realistic. You know, police vehicles everywhere, as in real life, because the people are corrupted and commit crimes from time to time, and even quite often. So be careful. Do not do silly things, and police will not come to you. Do not commit crimes. Care about others. Enjoy life, and stay tuned to the next report. I like that final paragraph. I think the devs have got a bit of a sense of humour. Now, this is going to be a very interesting update, and it will change the dynamic of the game. I think it's also worth noting that these new changes that are being introduced must be part of an overall strategy, because you can see the way that crime and punishment fits into loyalty. And I suppose if you go back through the various updates, you can see a pattern that the devs probably envisaged using crime and punishment, but they knew they had to put certain mechanics in place like loyalty. In some ways, I like their approach, because rather than dumping everything on us, which they could have quite easily done, they could have brought in loyalty and crime and punishment in one update. But then we would have to have dealt with all that in one big lump. By bringing them in a series of updates, it gives us a chance to get our head around loyalties. Then when crime and punishment comes in, we'll have another change. Now, just to wind up, I just want to talk a little bit about my current series, because even if I'm able to turn on crime and punishment, I'm not too sure how you'd be able to fit that into an existing economy, especially if it's particularly big. I suppose one option would be to auto build the buildings and drop them in, and then try and work around the situation. But at the same time, there's a dark side of me that thinks it could be fun just to switch it on and see whether you could keep the economy stable and avoid a massive crime wave. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. Any comments or opinion, feel free to chuck them into the video comments and we'll have a little bit of chat about it. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.